Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening with me, Yorkshire Kris. On this week's short episode, we're going to look at all the palms that are flowering in the garden and just basically compare the flowers and see what they're like and see which palms can flower here in the UK in May 2024. So this is my oldest Trachycarpus palm, Trachycarpus fortunii, that was originally growing in my father-in-law's garden over 20 years ago now. And I dug it up, moved it here, spent 3 or 4 years in a pot, very dry, so it took a long time to re-establish itself when I planted it here. And it's flowering, it's recovered well, it grows new leaves every year now, and as you can see, we've got plenty of flowers on it all the way around the top of the trunk, and it's flowered for a number of years now. And it's a male, so you've got lots of pollen, lots of bees on this one. And it's a nice healthy palm, biggest palm in my garden, although it's pretty much covered by bamboo and surrounding plants, but it's doing well. Let's now look at the palms just further down in the front garden. Next, we have a Trachycarpus humilis, and this is a palm I've had for many years. It's spent about 10 years in a large terracotta pot before that broke, and I cut the root ball in half and I planted it in my front garden where previously we had Musa bajou, and it's quickly recovered and it's really healthy plant and it's flowering now. You can see the flowers a bit out of focus here, but you can see the small, not really showy flowers unlike the Trachycarpus palms, and they're all the way around the top of the trunk. But like I said, pretty small, quite insignificant. If you walk past this, you might not even notice the flowers, so I've had to get in close so you can see them because the leaves and the foliage cover up the flowers quite a lot on this plant. But there you go, another palm tree flowering in my garden. Now just up above the Trachycarpus humilis, we have a row of waggy palms, so Trachycarpus wagneranus. We have 3 in a line, and the biggest one is the one closest to camera here, and you can see this has been flowering now, and we've got a male, and I believe we've got a female behind, and a third smaller one which is not currently flowering, but we've got 2 of the waggies flowering very close together here. And on the right hand side you can just about see my Jabea chilensis, which is many decades away from flowering. That gets much bigger before that starts flowering. But back to the waggies, you can see the flowers are pretty much finished on this first one here, but the one behind is just opening up their flowers. And you've got the nice stiff leaves of the waggy palm, really beautiful palm tree, really stiff leaves, so they're really good in a more windy location. But we're looking at flowers in this video, and you can see again all the way around the top of the trunk, very noticeable, and the bees and the flies really love the pollen on these flowers. So that is the wagneranus in my front garden. Here we have Trachycarpus nova, and this is a male. You can see the pollen on this, you can see the bees on it as well, and quite a lot of flies. And this has got lots of flowers actually, all these around this side. Got in the distance there, got plenty hanging on the other side as well. Like I said, the bees are really enjoying this pollen on this palm. And again, this is about 15 years old. Nice palm. The leaves aren't as robust as the fortunii or the wagneranus, but still it's a nice large leaved palm tree that's flowering now in my garden. Here we have another waggy or wagneranus palm, and this is a female, and you can see the flowers here, quite green, which most of the female flowers on Trachycarpus are, or a green tinge to them, and they come out later normally than the males. So I'm filming all these palm trees on the same day at the same time, and you can see the different stages they're at. And you can see with this one the flowers aren't fully out yet, and this is a female. It's only the first, I think it's the first time this one's actually flowered on this palm tree, and it's not got flowers all the way around at the moment, it's just on this one side. We just turn around, we've got my Princeps hybrid. This was a male, sorry, but it's finished flowering completely now. All the pollen's hit the ground, and it's pretty much lost all the flowers on here, just got the black bits left over. It's pretty scarce now. But next to it you have an absolutely gorgeous specimen. Carefully walk around. You can see this palm here. Lots and lots of flowers. Again, this is a male, beautiful Trachycarpus. It was planted originally as Ulcrahensis, but I believe it is an Anital. Lots of flowers on this one. And this is the second year this is flowered, and this is about 12 years old. It's planted out now for 8 or 9 years. But it's looking very, very nice. Lots of flowers on that one. And up here we have a Fortunii, and you can see remains of last year's flowers in the form of a few berries in the foreground, quite dark there, and then behind you've got this year's flowers. And this is a female, and you can see I've actually got some bees on it, so perhaps it's got some male flowers mixed in with the female flowers. I'm not quite certain, but we've had berries and fruit form here, so it has definitely got female flowers on it. It's starting to rain now, so I'll probably point the camera down in a second, but it's quite a high, tall palm this now. I've had this for a number of years, and it's well over 3 meters tall. As the heavens open above us, and you can just see the flowers up there. And this is another male Trachycarpus Fortunii, again in full flower at the moment. Looks pretty spectacular this year with so many flowers on it in the sunlight. Now the rain seems to have passed. And this one was a small plant when I got it, and now it's what? Let's stand up next to it. About 2.5, 3 meters tall, something like that. And it's been flowering for the last few years. And it's still getting taller and taller. The flies and the bees are enjoying the pollen on this one. Lots of flowers. So this specimen, like I said, is about 12 to 15 years old. And it's got a good 2.1, 2.2 meters of trunk on it, so it's a nice, healthy, happy Trachycarpus Fortunii. And then just over here we've got a Kris humilis, quite a tall specimen, single trunked one, and this one's also flowering. You can see that there. This, I believe, is a female. I know it's a female, it does form fruits, but not got any pollen to fertilise and get some seeds on this. But that's flowered now for a number of years, and if we just look around we can see the old flowers here. We move up, we've got about 4 years worth, 5 years worth of flowers still hanging on. Unlike the Fortunii that fall off pretty easily, Trachycarpus, on the Kris humilis, they do hang about for a long time afterwards. There's this year's flowers, and then the trunk, I mean, it's a decent size now. It's probably, it's over 1 meter tall, the trunk, and the whole plant itself is just over 2 meters tall. And then for the first time we've got a volcano flowering. So this is a Kris volcano, and if we just get in there, it's a female again. We can see, if we could focus, there we go, green flowers on the volcano, lots of flowers there. I think this is it's the second year it's flowered, and this is, you know, it's a bushy plant. Nice green leaves on that one, nice and healthy. It's nice to see flowers on this one. And then finally we come to the Trachycarpus oreophilus. This is the first time it's ever flowered in my garden. It's pretty much this year, 2024, is the first year it's flowered anywhere in Europe. There's only a handful of specimens. This is a female. Got that flowers spike over there. And this one just emerging. You can see the greenish tinge here. If I rub my finger on it, you see you've got no pollen because it's not a male, it's a female. And this is a very rare palm with a trunk well over 2 meters tall now. And then we've got those beautiful, beautiful leaves above, quite unlike other Trachycarpus species. So that's all the flowering palms in my garden. We've got plenty of other palms in here, and over the next few years we might see some more start flowering. And one day, if we're lucky, we might get the Bria Marta flowering and the big Jabea flowering, but that's going to be many, many years into the future. So thank you for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening UK. Join me next week. We'll be doing more in the garden.